Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another Wednesday webinar. This is we are going to have some great guests tonight in conjunction with the Louisville Metro Human Relations Commission. I'm Dave Etkin. I'm the director of the Louisville Small Business Development Center. And with me is Daniel Daddy with the Human Relations Commission and Kim Henry from the Louisville Metro Procurement Department. And so tonight we're going to talk a lot about understanding the RFP and submitting a bid properly, and hopefully you can get some good business for your business by through procurement with the city of Louisville. So I'd like to introduce Daniel, who will talk to us a little bit about what we're going to talk about tonight again, and the Human Relations Commission. Daniel?
Yes, thank you, David, and thank you for having us. We're excited to be part of this partnership with you guys, and excited to be a part of the first webinar for Louisville Metro and our Human Relations Commission and the Procurement Department with Office of Management and Budgeting here with Louisville Metro. So like David mentioned, I'm a compliance analyst with Louisville Metro HRC. So very quickly, we have just a brief breakdown of kind of what our offices provide and kind of what we offer. So part of our department, and the kind of a big thing that we go after and do, especially these past couple of years, is business certification. So this is where we certify local and also national companies as minority, women, and disabled-owned businesses. Just recently, in March of 2020, we started doing certifying LGBT-owned businesses with national agencies such as the NGLCC. But yeah, so if you are ever interested in getting certified with us and with the city of Louisville, our link is here provided below. Just a quick brief description of what we do and some of the benefits of it. Within the city of Louisville contracts that we own, we have goals to utilize minority, women-owned, disabled businesses. And you can see here, these are our goals that we have citywide. So 15% minority-owned businesses, and then 5% women-owned and 0.5% disabled-owned. And Kim will be talking here shortly to kind of go more in depth with how to place bids within the city, kind of any meetings that we have that lead up to placing bids that you can meet with the buyers, project manager, and stuff like that. But if you're interested in getting certified with us, our contact information is up above there with our phone and our email. And just once you do get certified with us, I would tell everybody to kind of check your emails pretty quick, periodically, and especially your spam emails, because we send a lot of information with our partners that we partner with. So we're with the SBA, the WeBank, NMSDC, the tri-state region. So they get a lot of resources that get emailed to us that we send to our certified list. And we kind of try to help grow your businesses. So if there's any marketing opportunities, that's kind of what we kind of try to gear and market ourselves towards our certified businesses. We tell you all to kind of use us as a marketing tool. We have one of our compliance analysts, their name is Brooke Daugherty. She made some of these nice digital seals that you can see here on our screen. So they made Minority Business Enterprise Certified Seal, as well as Women Business Enterprise, and all the certifications that we offer. So once you do get certified with us, we always email you that so you can use for any marketing purposes that's on your website, any social media use, stuff like that. Just currently we have just over 300 certified businesses, I believe 330 around there. And that's a big improvement that we've had over the past year and a half, that we've did a lot of focusing on outreach and reaching a local community, as well as partnering with these agencies that I've just mentioned. So that's kind of just a brief explanation of what we do. And then I'll just pass on over to Kim, and she'll talk more about how to place a bid within our Bonfire Portal and our system.
Before Kim, you get started, I'd like to just say, if you have any questions or comments, just put them in the chat at the bottom of your screen. You'll see a little toolbar there, and just put them in at the bottom of the screen. We'll get to them and we'll ask those questions. This is a good opportunity to really understand how to place bids with the city of Louisville and other organizations. So Kim.
Thank you. I am going to just go over our template, and also we use the Bonfire Portal to advertise our bids, and that's also where we collect your submissions. But first, I'm going to go over our bid template. For every bid that is submitted on Bonfire, this template will be in there. It will show you what department is the requesting department, what the product or service that is being requested. This is the bid number. And then all this stuff is just the legal language. And then for every bid that is awarded, before it can be awarded, you must be in compliance with the Revenue Commission. If you're doing business, you probably already have a Revenue Commission account, but that has to be in good standing before you can be awarded a contract. And I believe it can vary month to month, basically, if you have a tax report that's due or whatever. So at any point you could be uncompliant if you miss a payment or whatever. So that's always a good thing to go ahead and have if you are doing business, is a Revenue Commission account. That's occupational taxes. I'm not sure what all it covers. Another requirement to have a contract with Louisville Metro is you must be registered and pre-qualified with the Human Relations Commission, which is Daniel's department. If your contract is under $30,000 for the year, you only have to be registered. But if it is over 30, you have to be pre-qualified also. And we check that before we make any awards. Part of the paperwork in our bid documents on Bonfire is an acknowledgement and signature page. An acknowledgement is where you're going to address any addendum, and you can also claim preference points, and that's going to give you either points added to your evaluation score, or it's going to deduct 5% if you have a bid, if it's a bid that involves a base price. We would deduct that from your price, and it would reduce your amount but up your score. I'll get more into that when we get into Bonfire. But one of the preferences is a minimum wage preference. And to claim that, you have to pay all of your full-time employees at least $10.10 an hour. Another preference is the local vendor preference. That's also worth 5 points. You have to have a brick and mortar building with a Louisville address for at least 12 months. There are what we call reciprocal ordinances. The only one that we know of as of right now is Clark County, Indiana. So if your business is in Clark County, Indiana, you can submit that reciprocal ordinance, and you would also get the local vendor preference. This just goes through the submittal requirements, when they're due, how you do that, and I'll go through that on Bonfire. Section 2 of the bid document is what you really want to pay attention to. This is the specifications, where it's going to tell you what the scope of work is, what we're looking for, what the requirements are that we need you to submit in order to meet what we need. And it's also going to list the submittal requirements. This is very important to look for, because it's going to line out exactly what you need to submit. So these will align with our evaluation criteria. So if you do not submit everything that we're asking for, you're going to not get as many points. You're not going to get the most possible points. And as in that criteria. So on this one, there's quite a few requested information, and all of these link with your criteria, which is all of these. So everything up there that we asked for relates to one of these categories for the points. Another thing, let me go back up for RFPs. It's a multi-stage process. So the first process is going to be your HRC compliance with Daniel's department. So in every bid, we have good faith effort paperwork. So if you are subcontracting, you will need to make a good faith effort to use a minority female handicap, one of those requirements, business. And if you are doing subcontracting, then you will need to show your effort to reach out to those businesses. And maybe Daniel will want to go over that a little bit more in a little bit, but they are the first review of our bid documents. If you do not get past them and making your good faith effort, then you are eliminated and you do not go any further. Now, if you're not subcontracting, all you need to do is check the box that you're doing it all yourself and fill out the paperwork, and it's not a big deal. The big deal is when you are subcontracting. So then once you get past Daniel, you will go to the review committee, and they will score individually on their own each submission. And then after that, depending on if it's an RFP or a bid, we will shortlist it to see who are the most reasonably susceptible for award. And we can choose to interview, or we can just go with the best evaluated vendor. And then there's just some more general provisions. Your price, how long you have to keep your pricing, and most of our contracts are 1-year contracts that can be renewed for 4 more years. And then there's like if it's a construction project, it may or may not need bonds. So all this information, all this general provisions is very important to read over and make sure you understand. There's records retention. If you would have a protest, if you would want to see open records, how you do that, and then agreeing to the entire agreement, termination for cause, at will termination. So all of this is really important to read and understand. And I think that, and then section 5 is going to be your insurance requirements. So if you were awarded a contract, we would have to have an insurance certificate from you with all of the requirements stated. That kind of gives you a heads up front what insurance is required that you may or may not already have, if you would have to add it or whatever. And we realize that does affect your price, because that's a cost to you. So this gives you an idea of what your insurance you're going to need. And then the last section here is the information about the human relations and what your good faith effort is. This is very important to read, to understand exactly what a good faith effort is. You can't just reach out to people the day before and call that a good faith effort. You have to have chance to, for them to get back with you. We do have pre-bid meetings sometimes for our bids, not all the time, but that's a good way to meet and meet subcontractors, or, get your name out there that you, or a general contractor maybe that's looking for subs, but those are good things to do too. And this is about the paperwork that's required. The GFE 1 is what I was speaking of, that you need to indicate if you're subcontracting or not. And then the GFE 2 is the ones that you where you would list the vendors that you did communicate with. And then the GFE3 is where you would need to send in monthly for your contract. I'm going to go to Bonfire now. And I'm going to go to the same one. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go back. So this is Bonfire, and this is where we advertise all of our bids and RFPs. So what you will need to do is register. It's totally free. And once you register, you will go to your settings. Fill out all your information, and here's where you're going to put your own ownership status. This is very helpful for us if you're a minority owned or majority owned or a woman owned. I'm not really sure how many options there are there, but just make sure this is a required field. We made that a required field so that we could track who, the status of our vendors. And then down here, you're going to select your vendor type. I don't want to go much further on this part because this is just one of my coworkers' fake accounts, but you're going to pick your services. And I think maybe next it's going to ask for commodity codes. So you want to pick as many commodity codes that fit either the service or the goods that you provide. Because when we put a bid on Bonfire, we are going to go in and we're going to pick commodity codes also that apply to what we are looking for. So when when our commodity codes match up, you will get an email from Bonfire saying, hey, this opportunity is out there. So it will take you, it will have a link and it will take you to the opportunity that you may be interested in. There are also, I think, different ways to set it up. You can get just our opportunities, or you can narrow it down as much as you want. If you want to get other states, you can do that, but you can narrow it down as much as you want. So this up here where it says projects, that's going to be the ones that you've started a submission on. Obviously, there's none there. The portal is going to be everything that's open at this time. It's going to show you the number, the project, what department it's for, when the close date is, and how many days are left. So I'm going to go back into, this is the one that we looked at, the bid document. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. So when you go to this, it will show you all the pertinent information. It will give you the dates. There is usually always a question deadline. So questions will be submitted on this portal, and you will be able to do that until the date and time. And here you would hit ask a question. You would type that in, and then it goes to the buyer, who collects all the questions and gives those to the project manager. And then an addendum is posted as soon as we have all the questions. That way you see everything that was asked. And then it shows the close date. As far as the close date, I always suggest that if you're submitting a proposal, you start as soon as possible. We all know there's issues with computers. So I always suggest that you start your documents as you finish them and upload them. You don't, once you start, you can come back to it. You don't have to finish all at once. So, but at 3 o'clock, all our bids close at 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, it's going to lock you out. So even if you have every document uploaded, but have not hit submit, it's going to lock you out. So make sure you have plenty of time. This is going to show you the date, the events. So here's the date it opened, the question due, the close date. Sometimes if there's a pre-bid meeting, that will be listed here also. I try to put it here. And then there's also a place for public announcements, I think is what it's called. So I try to put it in multiple places. That way you don't miss out on it. We are doing mostly WebEx now. But if it's a meeting where you, it's a project on a building or something that you actually need to go to the site, we are doing those also. Okay, so this is going to list all of the files that are uploaded. Some of these are files that you need to download, complete, and upload back on Bonfire. Some of them are information only, and some of them are information only. This acknowledgement and preference page, let me see. I'm not sure what this looks like when I do this. So this is the acknowledgement and preference page. If there's an addendum posted, then you will acknowledge the addendum. And this is where you will claim the minimum wage and the local vendor preference. So this is a form that you will complete and upload back on there. This is the GFE documents. Daniel, do you want to say anything about these documents?
Yeah, so the GFE forms, just kind of also to touch base of what Kim spoke about previously, the GFE paperwork, we always like to stress at the pre-bid meetings that we attend, and to, any bidder that is wanting to place a bid, it has to be filled out in its entirety. And that includes the simplest of things that you sometimes you would forget, or some things that we see that we kind of shocked that people forget, and that's putting the date on it and signing it. So even if something simple as that is missing, we have to deny it, and all the hard work you put into a bid doesn't get to be seen by Kim and the rest of the procurement staff. So it's very important that's felt in its entirety. But yeah, to touch base more on that, the GFE1 form, as you can see here, this is where you put all your subcontractor information. So if you're going to use a subcontractor, we ask that you put their business name and your point of contact, and then their basic contact information. We always ask to put the federal tax ID for them. If you do not have it, that's not a big deal. You can leave that blank or TBD or something. But we do want to make sure the email address is in there. Please note if it's a local vendor or not, if it's a supplier, what kind of division of work they're doing. And then either put the sub amount that you want to give to them or the percentage. As you can see there, as we kind of mentioned previously, we do have goals to utilize minority, female, and disabled owned businesses. So you can check those boxes there if it's applicable to the business. But this is where you put all subcontractors, whether it be a minority or women-owned business or a majority-owned business. So this will be all of them there. As you can see at the top, if you're going to do all the work yourself, you just check the box that says, check here if you're not subcontracting any work. And again, make sure you have your bidder name, the bid number. If you do not know the bid amount just yet, you can leave that blank as well, or just put TBD, but make sure your email address is in there and the project name that you're bidding on, and make sure to sign and date the form. And then the GFE2 form, we ask you to fill this out if you are subcontracting work. So this is where you list all the minority, women-owned, disabled-owned businesses that you reached out to get a quote. Like Kim said, just sending them a quick email or a phone call an hour before the bid is due does not count as making a good faith effort. You have to give them a couple of days to read through the quote and have them respond back to you with some sort of documentation. So if it's an email, you can always attach that to your bid as well. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, we have 330 certified vendors, and that ranges from construction related, general contractors. We have marketing firms, we have PR firms that are on there, all kinds of businesses. So we always tell you at the pre-bid meetings as well that you can directly reach out to myself, Brooke Daugherty, or Alan Cunningham. There's 3 compliance analysts within HRC. You can reach out to us and ask us questions directly about, the path you're taking to make a good faith effort. If you need help finding businesses, And we can always, we can download our directory online and we can send you a list, or you can always go to our website. It's louisvilleky.diversitycompliance.com. You can download the entire list, and that has their contact information, their commodity codes, their business description. So all that stuff, you can look into that and reach out to them. So we always ask that you to make sure these forms are filled in its entirety, because it's very important that we are the first ones that look at it, and if we deny it, then we always have to have a nice little tough conversation with the vendor when they get mad and ask why they didn't pass the first step. So please be sure it's complete in its entirety.
And if in doubt of anything, just give them a call. If you have any doubt of what you think is, needed or not needed, just give them a call. Better safe than sorry. Okay, and then this is your signature page where you're gonna complete all of your information. This would be your legal company name, your address, your email. You may, like I said, you may or may not have a revenue commission number, but you would definitely have to have one before you were awarded a contract. The DUNS number is not necessarily required unless it's a federally funded project, and then we would have to have the DUNS number. And then this is where our director would sign, and this would become, once he signs, that becomes the official contract. This is the specifications that we looked at earlier. And then this is just instructions on how to do the upload to Bonfire and what we're looking for. So on this one, this is all of the requested information. Now, the good thing about Bonfire is it won't, good or bad, I guess, it won't let you submit until you have everything in there. So all of these documents are required, and you will not be able to hit submit until you have something in every slot. Another thing on here on Bonfire is we let you see who the document takers are. That way, if you are looking to subcontract, then you can reach out to one of these vendors and get with them and maybe team up. Some of these places are plan rooms that are basically just spreading our documents even further, like BidNet and Cambridge. They're plan rooms. And we also, this is new to Bonfire. This is a place where you can put, if you are interested in subcontracting. So that way general contractors can go to this and get your information and contact you about subcontracting with them. This is the messages, like I said, if there was a public notice for a pre-bid, that would be here. And this is this would be, I'm not sure what this actually shows, because, or maybe this just shows your questions. I'm not sure exactly what that shows for each one. So here's where you prepare your submission. And this is where you would add that you are interested in subcontracting. So let's go back to prepare submission. So it tells you exactly how much time you have left. Okay, so here's where you're gonna each upload each required document. And once you've uploaded it, this is gonna change. So like I said, you can come back, you can start your submission at any time and come back and return and add them as you go. So you're gonna click upload file. I'm not sure, this is a different view than, and then you're gonna just upload the document, and then you're gonna go through each one. This will tell you the type of document that we're requiring. And this is if you can do multiple files to this one requirement here. So once you go through and you have greens all the way down, you're going to click this, and then you're going to submit your final and finalize your submission. Now you can do that, and if you think, oh, I forgot something, or oh, I want to change that, you can take it back, fix whatever you want to change, and upload it again. So then once all that's uploaded, we're like I said, the first view is going to be Daniel's department, and then our evaluators we're going to release each evaluation criteria, and our evaluators are going to review that. Now, Bonfire tells us if there's not at least at least a 30% consensus. So then when evaluators go in there, they have to put they have to rate it, and then put a reason for why they're giving you that score. So if there's not a consensus, which is fine, because not everybody believes in giving somebody a 10, but we try to get together and just discuss. Like I had an evaluation meeting one time, and one person totally didn't see one of the required informations. So he gave him a lower score, and somebody was like, oh, here's where it was. So that always helps to make sure everyone is seeing everything. And we're all on the same page. So once the scoring is done, then it goes to the department for a recommendation. And then it comes back to the buyer, which would be me, to get signature from my director. And from there, we would do the requirements that need to be done to award the contract. Anything David, you want me to go over again? Anything you want to see?
I do have a couple questions.
Okay.
You mentioned that about Bonfire maybe going to other states, or what are some other opportunities that you can find? I mean, can you see what's like opportunities in Indiana or South Carolina or something? Or
I believe so. I'm not real sure, but I believe so, because we do get vendors from different states, but you can narrow it down or leave it as broad as you want. And I'm not sure. I know locally, MSD and the water company are either already using this or will be shortly. I think they already are. We started this, Louisville Metro started using Bonfire in 2016 or 17, and it was really still kind of new. So we've helped them create the program, and other local entities are using it also.
thank you. Fran wants to know how long it takes to hear back about a decision.
It really just depends. Sometimes longer than we would like. It just depends on the evaluators, their schedules, how complicated the RFP is. It just depends.
Okay. So if you have any more questions out there, just put them in the chat. Also, you mentioned about those commodity codes. Where would one find those commodity codes?
Let me see. Let me see if this takes me further. I would have to play around with this. This is the vendor's view. So I've never really been in here before. So I'm not real sure how you choose because it's deeper than just this, you know, it really narrows it down. Let me go back here.
And David, while she's kind of looking at that, I know Kim was talking about the pre-qualification that our office looks at and deals with. I just want to quickly just talk about that. So once a contract gets recommended for award, that's where Kim or one of another procurement analyst will reach out to our office to double check with the company if they're pre-qualified. And then they will also reach out to us to reach out to the company to get them pre-qualified. So that is also on our website, louisvilleky.diversitycompliance.com. And just very quickly, when you go into the website to do a pre-qualification, you have to fill out, you know, your basic contact information for your company. And then also it does a breakdown of how many employees that you have and how many of those employees are minority, female, or handicapped. So there's 4 different ways to get pre-qualified with our department. First one is if your workforce is 10 employees or less, we just ask for a list of the names, and that is simple as that. There's a place in the pre-qualification to type it in, or you can attach a Word document that has the names. Also, we accept an affirmative action plan, whether that is something that has been created in-house by the HR department or a federally approved affirmative action plan. So that has to be up to date within the past year or 2 for us to review. And then the last option is we ask you, if you don't qualify for any of the other options I just mentioned, we ask you to fill out a workforce analysis form that is a more detailed breakdown of how many employees you have and how many are minority, female, or handicapped, and what their position is within the company. And then also there's another form called the corrective actions form. That is what y'all do to reach out to solicit employees to come work for y'all. So how do you reach out to minority and women-owned, or minorities and women, and how do you reach out to them for employment at your place of work? So as a quick breakdown of the pre-qualification. And also something separate from that, Kim also mentioned on Bonfire, your ownership status. Obviously you have to put an answer in there, but we want to stress that you're making an accurate description of the company and the ownership status, because every month someone from their team will reach out to me and give us the new vendors that have been added on, or new vendors that signed up. And that is another form of outreach that we do. I don't know, some of you all on this call or on this webinar may have seen an email from me that invites you all to get certified with us. So very important that is filled out, because that's just another way that we reach out to you guys to offer our certification and get certified that way. So just wanted to quickly say that.
Thanks, Daniel.
This is an example of the commodity codes that I chose. So any vendors that when they set their account up, chose these codes, got notified. And we do use the NIGP codes. But as far as on here, Bonfire, I don't actually know where you would do that. I've not messed with that a lot. So, but Bonfire is very, very helpful. They're very responsive. If there's any issues with registering, or even if, you know, you're trying to upload your submission and it's, you're having issues, they are very responsive to any help that's needed.
So back to those codes, the NIPG codes. So there's probably a website where you can type in keywords and they'll pop up for you?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, good. So it's like the national industry codes.
Yes.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Okay. Let's see. Is any other questions out there? I don't see any. All right. Well, Kim, Daniel, is there anything else you'd like to share before we, I guess we'll call it a day?
I think that's it for me.
Yeah, just that basically it. Just if you have any questions, just always reach out to us. We're always happy to help in any way.
Yeah. And Kim?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Well, I encourage everyone to reach out to Daniel and Kim and get on Bonfire and really start to learn all about that. There's a lot of procurement opportunities out there, and should take advantage of them.
Let me just say one more thing. I just thought of it. If you Google Louisville purchasing, that will take you directly to our page. It'll be on the louisvilleky.gov website, and there's information there on there too. There's a list of contracts that are and their dates when they're due. So if you're looking ahead to when something might be coming up, but yeah, there's a link on there to Bonfire. So that's a good resource too for information.
Okay, thank you, Kim. I do have to ask you this, Kim. What's the craziest thing that you guys had to put an RFP out? Because I saw one from the federal government for like 6 pallets of balloons or something crazy like that. So,
I don't know. I have one out now for camel ride operator. That's not really crazy, but I guess you need to,
get close.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining, everybody. And Daniel, thank you so much. And Kim, it was great to see you as well. You guys are great. I encourage everybody to reach out. There's so many free resources in Louisville, Kentucky, so take advantage of them because everyone's here to help. So with that, we will sign off and call it a day. Thank you guys for joining. And
All right, thank you.